Okay, frequent flyers, the news you don't want to hear. Officials say the year will finish out strong with delays, cancellations, and long lines. Yay! That we've been seeing all summer. That's not really anything to celebrate. This was the security line at Seattle's Tacoma International Airport on Sunday. You're looking at a parking garage, but passengers say that security snaked into the parking lot. The airport's media relations manager says they did experience a high volume of travelers that day. I would say so. I've never heard of a security line that snakes into a parking lot. Dennis Tajer is the chairman of the Communications Committee of the Allied Pilots Association, joining me right now. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. We've spoken many times before.
No worries. I'm good. It's Captain Dennis Tajer, and I represent the pilot union at American Airlines.
Yes, I thought so, and I was giving you a Spanish pronunciation. I apologize.
I just returned from Spain, so I accept that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for being so gracious. The pilots union has warned of winter wait times. Not only that, further delays and cancellations. After the summer we've had, after the mask mandate was removed, after a lot of pilots were able to come back, why is this still an issue?
Because management hasn't changed the way they schedule the airline. Our CEO in April said, we're ready for the summer. We've sized the airline for the resources that we have. A couple weeks ago, he's used the same sentence. Nothing has changed in how they try to run the airline. So there's, again, another round of fall and holiday winter travel season that has been injected with uncertainty. Why would we think there would be any different results when they continue to run the airline the way they do? Unbelievable what I see in Seattle. Consistently, the problem at American and at some other carriers is they cannot connect the pilot to the airplane when the system is under stress. Now, today I'm going up to fly to Calgary and back. It's clear skies. I'm guessing we'll have a pretty reliable operation. But it's when the chips are down, does management have our passengers back? Because we're out there with our passengers, scrambling to get home and watching all the stress injected into a travel proposition that just shouldn't happen.
In terms of the pilots scheduling, what do you want to see happen? What's the positive? What's the right thing to do?
Well, first, stop recklessly utilizing us. When you build our schedules out to the maximum, the FAA maximums, you are setting up a scenario for failure. It not only causes flights to be canceled because we time out, but there's another angle on this. If you run to the maximums consistently, you're going to have pilots fatiguing out. That squeezes down the margin of safety. You know, legally, I cannot continue a flight if I self-assess that I may be fatigued upon landing. It's an FAA law. So pilots are often forced to fatigue out for safety, so that pushes the margin of safety. The airlines and the FAA responded, we have strict maximums. Well, let me tell you, from the flight deck, when you run along a barbed wire fence, run to the maximums, eventually you're going to get cut. So we're not going to stop bringing our case to the public until management changes the way it does business.
In terms of the ripple effect, we don't want to scare anybody, but we want to be realistic. Some 30,000 flights have been slashed for this November. That's right around the time of the holidays. What do you believe is going to happen as a result of those dominoes?
Well, let's think about that. $54 billion was invested in the airlines to keep them from collapsing and making sure they're ready for the recovery. We got the first part done. We're grateful for that. But management failed to keep pilots trained during the pandemic. 1,000 pilots retired early. They didn't retrain pilots for that. They retired 100 airplanes. They didn't retrain pilots to go to new airplanes. All of this created a backlog. So now what we're seeing, which sounds comforting, the reducing flights for reliability, guess what happens? After $54 billion, now there are less seats out there, so the ticket prices will go up. It's insane. It's got to stop, and they've got to get a handle on it. There's a solution. We can help as pilots. We've been at the table for 3 years. American had some of these issues before the pandemic. And they consistently tell us, we've got this. They tell the public it's all good. We're ready for the next season. And they aren't, and it doesn't happen. So we've had enough.
Yeah, Dennis Tajer, I know that you are passionate about this topic. We've spoken to you, again, a number of times about what needs to change. Thank you for being live with us here on Morning in America. And hopefully somebody is listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.